Doesn't go any higher? I don't think it does go any higher.
I'm confused.
We're supposed to be sitting up there.
What is that?
Huh? It's for like immediate family, but it's fine. This is better. Where's my volume button? I want to make sure my volume's all the way up. I think Uncle Curtis is coming to introduce himself to you.
That's awesome. That's good to meet you too, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And this is his dad, Paul.
This is my father right here.
This is my Uncle Curtis.
Thank you. Yeah, such good to meet you.
Yep.
No goal, folks. But yeah.
Okay. I get my brother.
Oh, honey, how you doing? You look nice today, baby. All dressed out.
Oh,
You want me to hold on to it?
sure, if you don't mind. Yeah, pocket. Where are you sitting, Mom? Up front?
Up front with Christakis.
Okay, I'll sit up front. You gonna bring Dad up front?
You want me
Yeah, you can sit up front.
to? Bill. Go
I
over
was
there
gonna sit
like
by my
a
mom.
preacher, man.
I need to sit by my mom.
Yeah, that's fine. He's just trying to speak the Bible. That's what we're trying to do. We're gonna move up.
Don't worry about the cushion.
We're doing a little detour.
Run him through on the side, and then I'll move
Oh.
around. All right. You roll him.
That's the. I think this was the same spot she had it in. Oh, that was further back, wasn't it? Or further forward?
Let me see. I'll put it back to where I had it. Right here. There we go. Is that okay? I think we're getting ready to start, so I'm gonna go sit. Hello.
Well, good morning. I'm Reverend Glenn Scott, and we're really privileged to be able to join with you in the remembrance and the celebration of Linda Carey Marshall. It's a real joy to have the family gather, multiple generations, 4 generations in her honor and memory. And we'll speak to that a little bit in our gathering and in our remembering as well. Family and friends of Carey Marshall, we do gather to remember a life well lived, much loved, and very loving. Her relationships included being a mother, Grandma Kay, most of you know her as Grandma Kay, right? Great grandma, sister, and many other beloved roles with family and friends. So as we celebrate her long and meaningful life, we invite God's presence to be with us, to comfort us in our human loss, in sadness, to give us hope, and even in death, give us memories that will live on through us, and for her, eternal life. Our gathering is a proclamation and a witness that death never gets the final word, especially where Kay's involved. We will remember Kay in our hearts and our stories, so that she lives on through your life lessons and the influence that you have and who you are and how you express your creative being in the world and in the family that you are part of. Will you please bow with me as I ask a blessing for us? We bow in recognition, God, that we are mortal beings, that we don't understand all the universe and all the growing and living and dying and loss. And yet, even through this time, Kay brings her life lessons to us. And we ask that through these stories and the remembrances and the sharing of one another, through family reunions and friendship gathering, over much food and fellowship and faith and fun, that she will be here among us and a part of us, speaking and loving and laughing and teasing and creating through us. And in doing so, we will have kindled the bonfire that is her life. Not to summarize it in this one gathering, but to add our own spark, our own memories, our own appreciation for who Kay was for each of us individually, so that it will burn inside of us warmly and lovingly and comfortingly, and give us fuel to live on in our sadness and grief. For all these things we humbly pray. Amen. So some of the Disneyland characters are going to be with us this afternoon as part of her long-term legacy when she and her parents worked at Disneyland. And Peter Pan said it well when he said, to live is a big adventure. And she really is a big adventure. Their Folgers coffee can. She had a sense of direction, she had a sense of humor, and she always said to the family, when I die, just put me in a Folgers coffee can. So we have a coffee can at the altar, and the laughter and the tears are all of who she was. Creative, funny. She knew how to take her craft seriously, because she did well at it, without taking herself too seriously. Oh, that's a gift. That's a good life lesson. So we want to invite you to sit back and enjoy some beautiful scenes and photography through a couple of songs as you reflect on your relationship with Kay.
namesake relates to the prosperity of the Lord's servant. It brings honor to the Lord's name. Verse 4 reads, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me." He has prepared us to face death and fear not, because he is with us. Also, we can see that here it says his rod and his staff, not ours, but his. It is a tool to guide us, to rescue us, and protecting us. The staff is to support and comfort. It reassures us. Verse 5 reads, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." After a covenant is made in the Middle East at that time, it was customary to have a meal to say that God prepares a table in front of our enemies, because he is always with us. Really, God is saying, I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. And anointed with oil just means you're his honored guest. He loves you that much. You're his honored guest. Verse 6 reads, "Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. His love will always follow you all the days of our lives. But God's got your back. And David says, "I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." I read this because the one thing that my mother wanted the most was for the generations that came. My mom really wanted you guys to know the Lord. And when Psalms is read, it's encouraging. It lets us know that God is with us all the time. In the beginning, he was a shepherd. Sheep follow the shepherd. He's a friend of us. Then he leads us beside quiet waters. He's beside us. And then at the end, it says, "He will follow me all the days of my life." Now he's behind us. And I don't know if you guys ever remember, but when we were younger, we always we did that trust thing, where you fall back and you trust somebody to catch you, right? Guess what? God's behind you. He's going to catch you every single time. Every single time. I love you all. Every single one of you. And I want you to remember God in this time. He's going to help you through our tears, our sorrow. So, for all of you, God be with you, all of you. And I love you all. God bless you. And by the way, this is my mom's Bible.
Lisa writes and shares some of her mom's history of life. Linda K. Marshall, who went by Kay, said she had a full life and was content. She had adventures. but adventures of wonder and discovery, seeing the world through the eyes of imagination and its possibilities. She was born to William and Mildred Farr with 5 siblings, and they lived in Northern California until moving to Southern California, where she and her parents once worked together at the newly opened Disneyland. We celebrated its 70th year, I think, this year. She told tales of being a dancer at Disney while her father worked in maintenance and mother worked in Aunt Jemima's pancake house, as well as in the park and doubling as a cast member and a dancer. So very, very much involved. Kay met her first love, Manuel Morales, in high school at the very young age of 15. They had a very early start on their family, having their first child at 17. With the love and support of family, she began to learn how to be a mother, how to be a wife, how to adult, in our words today. The times were hard. Their family grew quite fast, having 4 children by the time she was 26. They had moved to Hawaii following the construction boom. Daniel was a cement mason and worked in construction there. They enjoyed the island life. And then Kay was diagnosed with cancer that resulted in a full hysterectomy. They solved that problem. However, you'll have to ask the daughters about the miracle story of the cancer that was literally dissolved and disappeared in her life through much prayer and power of faith. She had worked as a seamstress and loved to sew. She shared her talents with new children. She always had time to teach and do crafts with those kids. And once she made a styrofoam Christmas tree, Lisa Rice, for the home, because the cost of an imported Christmas tree was outrageous. On a different year, she painted a tree on the wall of the house to make it feel more Christmassy. Moving back to the mainland in the mid-70s, Kay worked in a variety of jobs, from waitressing to factory working for semiconductor, a secretary to insurance processor for Metropolitan Life. And then after her divorce, she found herself as a single mom with 4 children. She sometimes worked 2 jobs to make things work. She was always a hard worker with a positive attitude. She and the children even survived a fire in their apartment, and I understand she survived more than 1 fire in the family history. Remarried, and the children being older and on their own, Kay took a job as a truck driver. Hello. As seen and here. She and her husband enrolled in training classes, learning how to drive the big rigs. But you know how, well, you know what her height advantage was. They traveled as a couple team across the country, seeing places they had never seen before. Kay being all 5 foot tall, who would drive the big truck, she needed the cushions to sit on to see over the wheel, right? But then that put her feet really far from the pedals. So they mounted wooden blocks on the pedals to drive the semi-truck. So here was Kay driving that. That was another word that time. After leaving her husband, Kay returned to the family. She stepped in to help raise the grandchildren in a supportive role for the kids. And this was when she bonded more closely with the grandkids and later the great-grandkids. And I'm here to tell you that I've not met a retired person who says, I used to be their parent. Now I'm just a care receiver, or now I'm a burden on them. There's no parent ever. Well, parents are always parents. That's the role, and that's the only way you become parents from the time you were born. And so she was your parents until she went to be a child of God in heaven. She shared her adventures and talents with you all, hoping to leave a legacy, hoping that this gives you things to feel, to love, to talk about, to create, to appreciate her creations. And in doing so, her name lives on through you. Lisa writes, as our family began to spread out, she had come to live with her youngest daughter, Crystal, who was her devoted caregiver. And y'all have a lot of good caregivers in your family, I understand. She was always doing something, which is how she had the email handle, her Power Tool GMA, Power Tool Gmail, her grandma. She was not one just to sit around. And when she felt ill with pneumonia, she never quite got her energy back and was told to rest. She fought that tooth and nail against just sitting there all day. But her body, was just declining. It just couldn't keep up. She began working on her crafting in her room, and she had made fairy gardens, bird houses, and so much more. A few of the things you're seeing today. Kay asked God one time if she could go, or probably more than once, if she could go in her sleep, like her grandfather had gone before her. It was after a battle of shortness of breath, a failing heart, that she still fought to recover, but she had, in fact, done some improvement. After being home for a day, she was on the phone to her friend who was using a walker and tripped over those long pajama pants and fell. Now, despite getting right up and walking around, a trip to the ER confirmed that she had in fact broken part of her hip. The surgery went fine, and she reported no pain, and yet it was too much for her heart. Her heart began to fail, and she had many heart attacks over the next month or so. Each weakening it and keeping her from catching her breath. And through all of this, she continued to say she has no pain. Kay had been through so much in her life. I was always a fighter, a survivor, a thriver. Young motherhood, divorce, raising 4 children, cancer, house fires, physical limitations. She always had a sense of humor and a positive outlook, even in the midst of all that. There were times she would ask herself, what's my legacy going to be? And she said she wanted to craft as long as she possibly could, and she did just that. Lisa recalls even in the hospital, she asked for individual jingle bells. She kept those pill cups that they give her all the time, and she ended up creating bells out of them during Christmas time. Kim would look at something, and her creative mind would think, what can I make out of this? What she made of her life was an example of creativity and love. Being there for one another and remembering to laugh. Kay finally did go peacefully. No pain. Being born into eternal life with God, March 17th, 2025. In the immortal words of Winnie the Pooh, a little consideration and a little thought for others makes all the difference. And she embodied that so well. In portions of Proverbs 31, it talks about the virtues, the real truths, and the really important principles of a woman who fears God, who prays and is in relationship with God. It says, she is far more precious than jewels. She rises while it's still night and provides food for her household. She girds herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. She opens her hands to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idols. Or we should say that again. And her children rise up and call her happy. No charm is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Kay's life is now a legacy that lives on through this act and far more in the days and weeks and months and this year of firsts that are to come. You will remember a lot with sadness, and rightly so, because you've lost someone that is dear to you. Your relationship with her deserves the right to express all your emotions in her memory. And the brokenheartedness that will heal as she kind of stitches it together with the memories and laughter. Because in the months and in the years to come, you'll be telling some of the stories, you'll be hearing some of the songs, you'll be seeing some of the photos, and there'll be tears, but this time it will be laughter and joy. Because the pain of grief is not permanent, but you are carrying on with the stories, passing it to the next generation. That us survivorship over death. So the stories and the smiles and the tears that you are proclaiming expresses her creative love in and through you in the way you created it. Disney Lion King states, the past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either learn from it or run from it. I'm a bereavement expert. That's what I do for a living through one of the hospices here. And to learn from it is definitely the way to go. Don't run from it. It catches up to you and it knocks you down and it hurts you and then you don't understand why because it's been a year and you haven't breathed and all that messiness. And really, like we witness all the time in Western Colorado, the fastest way to get to the sunrise of hope, the resurrection of a new day, of a new dawn, of new hope in your life, is not to run toward the sunsets of the past, but to turn and go into the darkness and get to the sunrise so much faster. Just gotta go in the darkness. So know that I'm available and family have my number. You can reach out and I have lots of free resources for children and teens and grown-ups. How do we talk about this stuff? How do we pull together when we feel like falling apart? And for kids, it's super weird because I'm guessing that every time you were with Grandma Kay, it was really fun. She had crafts and we did things together. And here we are talking on and on about her, and yet we're sad and we have different emotions. And that is weird. And I hate this part. Let's just be honest, it's not the good part. It's not the fun part. Remembering her, but all the sadness and things like that. The great thing is that every tear you shed, every sadness you feel, every pain in your heart you feel, it reminds you that she's still alive in you. She's still with you. Otherwise, you wouldn't even care. You wouldn't hurt. We hurt because we love and we are loving. And that's what's going to get us through. So keep telling the stories, keep crying the tears, and laughing the memories, and creating, and looking at the photographs. Because again, this hard part, it will go away. But you need to talk about it for years and generations to come. And one of the psalmists prayed, let me live until I can pass down your glory from generation to generation, even until my hair is gray and I'm old. And she did just that. Living a legacy alive in you. Wow, special thanks to Crystal for the daily caregiving in your family and all the sacrifices that means to be boots on the ground caregiving. For Lisa providing respite support for the visits and the care that we did, long distance and in person. Because it is her who got together. It was her needs, it was her aging, it was her disease. And that's what gives you the conquer power and victory over death. That she keeps bringing you together. We're going to watch a few more minutes of the videos of her life, and then we'll wrap up this part of the time together. mentioned that the lightning said that that's going to hurt, and we need to run from it. I think Kay stated it, both with her words and her life, even more powerfully. What can I make out of this? What can I make out of this one precious young life I've been given? What can I make out of this obstacle that's making me crazy, but somehow is an opportunity to grow, to help someone else do it? To actually ask somebody to help, so we get to do it together. What do I need to make out of this? A life of spectacular creation, and we're doing it in her name and in her honor. There's a reception following our time together, right over here with lots of yummy food, is not a meeting, that's what we're eating, right? And to have that fellowship together around food in your stores, continue to share and love on one another, and let the light of who came, was, and is. And this afternoon, really bless you and help you grow. Now with that, I'm remembering the words of Dale Evans, where she said, "Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, keep smiling until then. Oh, who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails until we meet again."
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming. We can move on to the reception area, and we can join us and some snacks and conversation and share some memories before the. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for joining. We are. We have to turn the one way up on our end. Sorry. Guess you should have been here. And
Hard to hear.
that was the beginning when Crystal was talking. Hopefully the audio got better. Maybe with the recording after it's posted and saved will be better instead of the live audio. But we love you and have a good rest of your day.